Tony Khan, bro. What are you doing? Are you having a blowout sale on your stars? Like, what are you doing? Like, you cannot tell us this time around that Jade Cargill had you in fear for your life, and that's the reason why you had to let her go. We're not taking actually, you know what? That makes a lot more sense to be in fear for your life for CM Punk. And that's no disrespect to CM Punk, but Jade Cargill got some associates that ain't scared to get their hands dirty, if you know what I mean. And also, she's kind of, you know, a little chiseled up, so you're not getting away from her, okay? But I'm extremely excited about this. So if you didn't hear, according to Sean Ross Sapp, there is reports out there that Jade Cargill is going to finish her time up at AEW, and sources have also told him that she's going to transition over to WWE, which I think for me is exciting news. I think it's fantastic news. For one, we get to stop seeing these Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill comparisons. Like, I know wrestling fans, I love you guys. I know the comparisons have to happen, but for me, I didn't care about the comparison. It's not on the same. I'm not even going to get into that whole conversation, but listen, I'm glad we're past that. Hopefully we're all past that. But for me, if you watch the channel, you guys know I'm very passionate about the women's division when it comes to most promotions, especially with WWE. And I think this right here can help out a ton, a whole lot. So I got two things that I think they can do with her when she comes to WWE, if that does happen. The first thing I think is a cool idea, but the second one I think is the best idea for her to do. Now, the first thing I will say is I had an issue with how they were handling her at AEW. Right? I know people are like, well, how do you have a complaint about her? She had the TBS championship for a long time, Okay, championship reigns don't always mean that it makes somebody a bigger star, right? Unless they're doing something or they're ready for that position. And in my personal opinion, I felt like the AEW booked her up as a star a little bit too early. I felt like she was too green in the ring. I felt like she had that potential, and still does, to be a huge star. It was just untapped potential at the time. And I kind of understand where AEW is coming from. For one, they're just like, okay, well, we have this huge star right here who's potentially a huge star. So we don't have nothing else going on that's like her. And it's like when you have that, that science project that's due on Friday, you wait till Thursday night to do it, and you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna give the teacher whatever I have right now, because I'd rather get a C than to get this 0. And I feel like AEW did that. I think they were like, and I have nothing to support this, I'm just saying this is what I think. I think AEW was like, okay, we have this potential star. We have no one else really like her. Let's put her up to the front. We got these whole conversations with Bianca Belair. Let's create this compare and contrast between the two. And even if people don't feel like she's nowhere near Bianca Belair level or whatever way they feel, at least we got her in the conversation, and we'll bring more eyeballs over to our promotion. And I think that's what they're kind of going for. So if that's the case, they broke glass, okay? In emergency, they just broke glass, and they did that, but I don't agree with pushing her up that much. I think she needed more time to develop, and, you know, it is what it is. But I do believe that she has the makings to be a star. She does. Like, the look, the physique, the personality, everything like that. All I will say is, Jade Cargill, when you come to WWE, do not do that whole thing with Lil Bow Wow or Bow Wow thing. Don't do that ever again. Don't ever do that again. That was so cringy. So the two things that I have that I think they should do when they bring Jade Cargill over to WWE is, for one, this one I'm not too much of a fan with, but this was the last thing I could think of to put on the list. Maybe they can put her in the faction with Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, and when they get Bianca Belair in there, it could be, you know, a stable of 2 men and 2 women, as opposed to the typical, you know, 3 guys and 1 woman, 4 guys and 1 woman, like that thing. They could do it like that, which I think would be a cool thing to see. But I think there is, you know, other ways that they can definitely handle this situation. And I think they should definitely just put her in NXT. I think that's the best way to go, because NXT, they need to replenish their women's stars, for one. And also Jade Cargill needs to develop a little bit more. And I think that's the best place for her to develop. That's the best place for her to naturally gain traction and become a bigger star, and then eventually get pulled up to the main roster, which is what the mistake I think they did at AEW, is to push her up and not give her opportunity to develop. I think NXT will be the best place to do that. And I think she could be a huge star down there. Now, by saying that, now that I think about that now, it just makes you wonder, with the whole thing with Tiffany Stratton, with her losing the NXT championship to Becky Lynch on a random Tuesday, it just makes you wonder. Like, for me, at first I was like, did Tiffany Stratton do something? Like, did she do something outside of wrestling, and this is kind of like a punishment for that? But now that I'm hearing that Jade Cargill is coming to WWE, I'm wondering if they put the belt on Becky Lynch for Jade Cargill to take it off of her. Like, you know, I don't know if that's the case. I'm just wondering, because it's the timing is just kind of weird. A day after, 24 hours after Becky Lynch gets that belt, we hear about Jade Cargill possibly coming to WWE. I don't think that's a coincidence at all. But if she does come to NXT, she does develop, she does take that belt off of Becky Lynch, this would be great for Jade Cargill, especially if she gets better in the ring and things like that. And we need more women to come to NXT. Now, I know some people will say, well, she'll be a great opponent for Rhea Ripley on Raw, which would be cool, but with people being able to come down to NXT and you know, things like that, you don't necessarily need Jade Cargill to go to Raw, especially if she isn't polished yet. You can have Rhea Ripley come down to NXT and have a match with her. That's already happened before. We've seen that happen with her and Valkyria. So like it can happen. So we don't need her to go directly to the main roster. If she does, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Maybe Triple H sees something in her, or maybe he'll put her in a performance center for a little bit, and then like when he gets to the point where he's like, oh, she's ready, then they'll put her on the main roster, which, you know, with Triple H, I trust. I don't have a problem with that. But at the end of the day, I still think it's exciting news. It's another, you know, loss for Tony Khan, and I'm not trying to do this whole AEW versus WWE battle, but I think this is weird. I think this is weird for her to just want to walk out the door, given that she was a champion for a long time and things like that. So there has to be something for her where she's like, I have something better going on here, obviously with WWE, or there's something at AEW that she's just not rocking with, you know. But anyways, what do you guys think about this idea or the reports coming out of Jade Cargill coming to WWE? I'm excited about it. We have great potential to build up this women's division and make it a lot better than what it is. Let me know in the comment section what you think, and what do you think that they should do with her in WWE? I appreciate you guys. Sorry for rambling. Salute. Peace. Have a good day.